All right, Mother. It is Sunday. I know I've been posting videos and such, but I haven't been reading too many stories. But I've been working on Cat's house. I say working on it. But myself and the new contractor, I mean, all we've done for 6 weeks is dismantle stuff. And I'll be honest, I've been really emotional lately. I mean, I keep thinking about, it's a lot of work building a house like that. It's a lot of work and pain and frustration when you break your feet, and you got an individual out there who's just bullying everyone, and you're trying to get something done right. You got this guy just fighting you all the time. He didn't give a damn about what the homeowner wanted or what the documents were trying to illustrate or represent. He just wanted to do what he wanted to do. And that made me think about a story that I had written a while back called Buzzard Hair. And I'm sure you'll remember the story, because I guess it was a little controversial within the family, because I was getting ready to say, my mom reprimanded me a while back. She said, stop calling your videos dumb shit. So I'm going to say, whoever watches these videos other than my mother. My sister and I are two polar opposites. We love each other and we'll do anything for each other, but you couldn't find more likely two people that are just on the opposite end of the spectrum, personality-wise. And that obviously caused conflict as we were growing up. Even as adults, sometimes it still causes conflict. But we work through them and we move on, and that's what family is. But so the story is about a time when she was going through a rough patch. She had got a divorce, or was getting a divorce. She moved back home to Richmond in my parents' house. And I think at the time she was renting it and then working to buying it or whatever. And it never occurred to me really until it actually happened how much that house and that room and that woods and how much it really meant to me and how much it affected me. But she's struggling, trying to raise an adopted child and live on her own. I guess a lot of us have been there. I've been there. But I came there one day, and as I'm going to read, there's a room, favorite room in my parents' house. And it was just up and gone. I lost my shit. I mean, I was hurt, angry, and upset, as I usually do. When I get that way, I write stories. And I wrote this story called Buzzard Hair. And Trixie, I don't understand why you gotta be a bitch all the time. You're not gonna eat it. Don't let it. Come on, Woodrow. You can't just have the whole shop. Anyway, I wrote this story, and it wasn't meant, I guess, I mean, at the time I was so hurt, it was probably meant to give me some relief, but it wasn't meant to just hurt my sister or whoever. I was just pissed off my room was gone. But as I said, come on now. Oh, as I said, we are dismantling Cat's house, and it reminded me of, I guess, the dismantling of this room. And in my mind, the utter disrespect that builder showed toward Cat and her wishes. So I'm going to read the story, and then when I get to the end, after I read the story, I was like, you know what, that's not a bitch. I wrote a little ad lib for him. Just scribbled it out. And I'll read that too. All right, this is called Buzzard Hair. I have a favorite room in my parents' house. I hope I don't cry. To this room I have gone many times for advice, reprimand, enlightenment, and clarity. This room, upon entering, has always brought about a rekindling of my spirit. But sadly, I write not of a birth announcement, but of an obituary. For this room is slated to be dismantled for the sake of leisure. Like all things in our society, a reverence for the wisdom of what's past must be boxed and stored, making room for our dependence on all things electric, easy, and leisurely. To me, this room is truly a sacred place. As my mind inventories the priceless items and memories held within those walls, I take stock of all that is precious. On the back wall there is a grand china press filled with silver plates, cups, and bowls. But what makes this piece shine is not the silver, but the sound the sliding doors make when you open it. It sounds like BBs rolling down the barrel of my father's Red Ryder, and it never fails to take me back to a more carefree childhood. Rolling Rock. Don't see me drinking that too long. I remember playing hide and seek with my mother when this piece was in my first home. I always thought it would be a fabulous place to hide, but knowing the sound of those doors would give me away, I often opted for the enormous pedestal-footed dining room table, clad with a silken cloth of blues, golds, purple, and maroon. A true testament of craftsmanship lies in that tablecloth, for many a schoolbook was slammed across its threads. Such tried wisdom in its weave. It now adorns a cardboard box in a moth-proof bag. In the corner struggles a bookcase burdened with leather bounds and gold leaves. Surely, if you were to take one in your hand and read its text, you would remember, for the printed word always carries weight, and the stitching binds it to your soul. I guess these qualities are too burdensome, so they must be replaced, perhaps with a weightless computer, internet, or a soulless flat-screen TV. Also arranged properly in this room are handmade, hand-upholstered, wing-back chairs. The fabrics alone demand a most certain dress, coaxing a far more formal attire and requiring self-respect. The relaxing ease provided by these chairs was proper and wise as well. wise as well. A comfort in which to read, reflect, or rest, but a forced posture, always reminding you to get up and act upon that which you have learned. Clearly, a Chinese manufactured sofa would be more appropriate for leisure. So alas, the wingbacks must fly away. Come on in here and lay down. Get out of the way. Don't worry about her. Lay down. Every wall in this room has an oil painting created by my great-great-grandmother. I was not fortunate enough to meet her, but I knew her just the same. We were introduced in this very room. Excuse me. She was a fascinating woman. I can almost see her there, painting in the noonday sun, harvesting light for her all but blind eyes as it refracts through my father's crystal Scotch decanters. She was smart that way. Her personality is reflected in every subject matter in blended color. Her decisions, perspective, and resolve are defined in every stroke of the brush. Even the frames that bound the canvas showed that she was truly visionary. Like myself, her perspective was sometimes wrong, but she saw the importance of what lies outside the box. But the dried linseed oil now pulls the color from the canvas, and room must be made for new glossy photos with single-minded aluminum frames. Excuse me for that too. This is going to be tricky. Underneath all that's in this room, its foundation is a hand-knotted oriental rug. Ancient and unraveling, it's still worth more than my house and everything in it. There was something about that rug that drew everyone and everything to it, from friends and family to dogs and fleas, all who entered and passed over this rug. It was always respected because it was in this room. Even my dogs, Buzzard and Dilly, learned in short order not to toy around with this room. They once collectively urinated over and chewed up everything in my parents' bedroom, but were utterly paranoid about that rug. Buzzard even began the practice of acrobatically backing up to a split white oak basket and relieving himself inside of it. That damn dog. We had silk geraniums in this basket. And we could smell shit, we just could never, we didn't know what the hell was going on. We finally realized that dog would back his ass up like it was a toilet, take a dump in the basket, fall through the geraniums. It must have been 4 or 5 giant turds. Oh God. Practice of acrobatically backing up to a split white oak basket and relieving himself inside of it. This basket set 6 inches from that rug. A far easier target for a dog. Dilly in her last days knew the importance of that rug. Paralyzed from the shoulders back, I had to make the hard decision to put her down. When the time came, I found her half on the rug and half in the foyer facing the front door. Behind her was a 7-foot trail of urine. She had gone in the room to sun herself, perhaps catching a little extra from the crystal decanter. She was smart that way. Being paralyzed, she couldn't tell if she had to urinate, and when she realized she had tried to drag herself outside. That very same day, I put her down. And I'll go to my grave thinking that she thought I did it because of her transgression. Come on. When in actuality, I can think of nothing that dog could have done to that rug that I don't cherish. I'm glad she left her mark. But that faint hint of odor and that stray but ever-present buzzard hair do not make for a very leisurely flop on the floor. A new rubber-bottomed shag is certainly in order. There are so many things in this room that are valued and treasured by me. I simply can't see myself participating in its destruction in the name of leisure. Everything about that room is in me, a part of me. It is a reflection of who I am and who I aspire to be. It shows what I believe and how I think. Like that china press, that room makes me shine. Not because of the silver that's in the vessel, but because of all the vessels that build the room. I know that as time passes, there is a natural progression or digression, if you will, to all things new. Out with the old, in with the new, as it's often said. Sometimes this is sound wisdom. But where is the reverence for all that is old and sound and good? And where is the patina and all that we replace? Does not the sinking of a spiritual vessel of knowledge in the inept name of leisure smack of disrespect? I think it does. If we are to act with such disregard on a whole as a society, and if we can't learn that our lazy, idle, inert, leisurely ways are a slovenly defecation on the very soul of our humanity, then I have something I'd like to add to this room before it's destroyed. Perhaps, in doing so, it will give me peace of mind and memory. Among many other things I care deeply for, one is my current dog, Ishi. I put him down 4 or 5 years ago. I care so much for this dog. I'd like him to be a part of my memory of this room. So when no one is around, I'm going to take him there and let him make his mark. A great big pile of shit right in the middle. It will be a lasting contribution to my memory of this dying room. So, I never did take Ishi to shit in the room. Because like I said, the room just sort of disappeared. Which I hold no ill will or disrespect to my sister because it was her house. She had the right to make it however she wanted. And my parents just took everything and made the room over again at Creekview. And now that they've moved to Westminster Canterbury, thanks to my aunt, they recreated the room again. So, The room is still there in my memory and in reality. On the unfortunate day that they pass away, I'm going to recreate the room in my house. But sitting here thinking about that story, and as I said, I rewrote the ending for Cat's Builder. And his lazy, idle, leisurely disrespect of her home, which we are now dismantling. I'm going to take him there and let him make his mark. A great big pile of shit right in the middle. It will be a lasting, eternal contribution, a steaming statement that says, if you disregard others in a search for your happiness, be careful upon that which you leisurely tread, for the smell of shame will be quite disastrous and linger about you long after you're dead. We got a disaster, and it smells. It smells like incompetence and disregard, and I don't give a fuck. So the lawsuits have been filed, subpoenas have been sent. God only knows what's going to happen. But I believe the one motivation behind all this is to make sure that individual is ashamed. And if he's not, the rest of the world will be ashamed of him. Because that house was that woman's room. That was going to be her room, her place. And he fucking destroyed it. So, there you go, Mother. And Cat, if you see it, there you go too. That guy should be ashamed, but we're going to make it right.